Okay. Regarding my last video, I just want to say to everyone involved that I am making a horror movie tier list. So let's hop right into it. All right, so a horror movie tier list. Now, um, with this tier list, right? Obviously, it's not every single horror movie, but it's honestly the ones that I've seen, and the ones that I think fit my little legend here. So the legend is True Paranoia, chilling and disturbing, good movie overall, so just an actual good movie, not extremely scary but not cornball. Okay, like okay, and then cornball where it's just outright cheesy. Now there's a lot of movies that can go in cornball, but for the sake of time I'm just gonna I only put in a few. Okay, so we're gonna start with Children of the Corn. Now, okay, Children of the Corn is it's a decent movie. It's kind of corny, right? It's okay. I'm not gonna say it. I don't know. It's kind of corny, but it's an okay movie. That's gonna be like our first okay. And I think I might just go down the list, or I just might pick and choose. So next we have the Blair Witch Project. Now the original Blair Witch Project is a really good movie, and my favorite kinds of movie are like lost footage or like lost like found films things. So like As Above, So Below, right? The Paris catacombs thing, right? That's a found footage film. The originals I feel like is really good, but a lot of people think it's boring because it is long and kind of slow. But I actually do think it's a good movie, so I'm gonna put it at good movie. It is chilling and disturbing at times. I don't know. I'm actually gonna hold off on that because what I'm gonna do is that ones that are right next to the tier are gonna be the strongest of it, and then obviously the ones far in the back are gonna be the weakest of that tier. So if this is over here, then this is a weak okay and a strong cornball, right? But it's not exactly cornball. Cabin in the Woods with Thor himself. It's not a scary movie. There's scary elements, there's scary things, but it's not a scary movie. It's kind of funny. So I'm gonna also put it in okay, but I'm gonna actually put it above Children of the Corn just because it's funnier than Children of the Corn is. All right, next we have the original Carrie. Carrie, some Stephen King movies in here based on books or whatever, but Carrie, the original Carrie, I think is pretty good. Basically, if you don't know, everybody knows Carrie. Who doesn't know Carrie, right? It's just, the girl that has like some like telekinetic powers, and then she gets pissed on at prom with pig blood, and then she lights the whole place on fire. Spoiler, sorry, it's been out for like 40 years now. But I think it's a pretty good movie. It is a little disturbing at some times, but I do think it's a good movie. This is gonna end up towards the end of good movie though, because there are some better movies than Carrie, but that's where it's going to be for now. Okay, Creep. A lot of people don't know about Creep. There's a Creep 1 and 2, and both of them are actually really good. Like I said, this is another found footage film. Creep is about a young videographer who answers an online ad one day for like recording people or whatever, and his job is to record the dying wishes or the dying final few messages of an old man. Not an old man, but a pretty deranged kind of man. And when he notices the man's odd behavior, he starts to question his intentions. Yes, I'm reading the IMDb movie description. There's two versions. One of them, the main character is a guy recording the same guy, and then the second movie is a girl recording that same old kind of guy, whatever. I say he's old, but it really isn't. Now, Creep is, I would say, it's a good movie, it's okay, and it's cornball. It's absolutely not, did not give me paranoia, but I'm gonna put it in chilling and disturbing. The only reason I would say that is because there are some scenes where it is pretty like disturbing, especially in the second movie. There's full frontal nudity, both male and female, in like the first scene or the first couple minutes into the movie. So there's that. Okay, Friday the 13th. I mean, like with this one and Halloween, I don't think I put Halloween on here, but with this one and Halloween, like me per they're classics, right? And that's why also like Chucky isn't like on here either. Like they're classics, but they're not amazing. Maybe when they came out, they were like pretty fear inducing, but now that we have, Five Nights at Freddy's, in the game and it's really scaring people now, Friday the 13th is I think it's okay. I'll put Friday the 13th above Children of the Corn because Children of the Corn, it's not cornball, but it's just gonna stay in okay for a fact. But yeah, okay. Get Out. Honestly, I don't think I think it's enough said. Get Out is a good movie overall, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna put Us up there as well. But I think Get Out was better than Us in my opinion. However, Us had a better plot twist, and all Jordan Peele movies have plot twists, right? Get Out, Us, Antebellum are all plot twists, and they're all really good movies. Get Out was just a better filmed movie, had a better storyline, it was better told with a good twist. but Us had the better twist, but it wasn't as good as Get Out. So that's why I'm gonna split it with Carrie. Actually, I'll put Us above Carrie, just like a little bit, just a little bit. Hereditary. Okay, so we're gonna do Hereditary and Midsummer at the same time because they're the same director. Hereditary and Midsummer are one of my favorite two movies of all time. I think these two movies are amazing, and my friends literally tell me to shut up, but I never shut up about how good these are. And a lot of people don't like either of these movies. They like Hereditary more than Midsummer, but to each their own. I really enjoy both of these movies. Midsummer is just essentially about this group of friends that go on this trip or whatever to Sweden for their Midsummer festival, and then a bunch of stuff happens. So a bunch of crazy stuff, right? So I'm going to put, this is absolutely chilling and disturbing, but it is also a good movie overall. Midsummer is an amazing movie, but it is more disturbing than it is amazing. Absolutely have to watch the movie. It's long, but I love the movie, so I'm just going to put it there. Hereditary is next. In both of these movies, Hereditary and Midsummer have amazing soundtracks as well, so that's probably why I'm more of a fan of it than anything else. But Hereditary is definitely scarier than Midsummer. Absolutely. There are, like I said, Midsummer is just disturbing, but Hereditary is absolutely scarier. I'm hesitant to put it in Paranoia, but it's the scariest movie in my opinion so far. This is obviously not going to stay here. It's probably going to be back here, but as of right now, unless my mind gets changed with some of these, which it might now that I'm looking, but that's where it's going to go for now. Hereditary is up there. Amazing movie. Insidious. Okay, now we get into Insidious, Elm Street, and Paranormal Activity, which is basically, just franchises or just series at least, right? Obviously, movies that have multiple sequels, usually the first one is typically the best, and that's usually not the case with some movies, but that's more than likely the case. So, and the same thing with Saw here, right? So, with these four, I'm basing it off its best movie, which is usually the first. Like, in my opinion, Insidious 1's the best, Nightmare on Elm Street 1's the best, Paranormal Activity 1, in my opinion, it's kind of the best. Some of the other ones give it a run for its money, and then Saw, I'll get to Saw in a minute, but Insidious, I think, is the first one is the best. There's a lot of cool elements that they use, very scary, good cinematography, good, okay story. So I'm gonna put it in good movie, but I'm gonna definitely put it at the last, because it's okay. It really is. It's okay. Nightmare on Elm Street.
I love you guys. Do you know that?
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know. Like, the concept's really cool. Like, the idea of not being able to go to sleep or you'll see him. So obviously, it should be theoretically in true paranoia. That's where it should be, but it's just such a dated movie. Like, that's a hard one. I'm gonna put it. I think I'm gonna put it in okay, because it is pretty corny, but it's also up here. I'm gonna put it above Insidious just to appease the audience that is in love with Nightmare on Elm Street, right? All right, Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity 1 is actually really good, and it's actually pretty scary. There's a lot of, it's also found footage, obviously, he's recording their endeavors or whatever, but Paranormal Activity 1 is actually pretty good. As much of a bad rap as it got, or at least as all the parodies that were made of it back in the day, I still think it holds. I'm not going to say it's the first ghost movie or paranormal movie, but I'd say it's the first really good one. So I'm going to put Paranormal Activity. I'm going to bisect the Peele movies. I'm sorry. I hate to not put them next to each other, but that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, because Paranormal Activity is scarier than Us. But is it scarier than Nightmare on Elm Street? This tier is super weird, because this tier is just good movies, I feel like, that have scary, undertones, maybe, but, I don't know. Saw. My friend PK0 really enjoys Saw, and so do I. He's seen more of the movies that I have, so I'm sure he's gonna have some debate about what I'm about to do with this movie, but in my opinion, Saw's traps and the violence design is actually, I have a lot of respect for, because a lot of the design choices and just the storyline in general, like the criminals are being tortured rather than normal people. If it was normal people, then it's just a horror movie, right? But Saw's it steps back a little bit. It's torturing bad people, so it's like, oh my god, why are they doing this to this person? But it's like, then again, he did, like, record this snuff film with 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds. I think the movies, I'm not gonna say the movies got worse as they were kept getting made, but like, it's the same thing with Paranormal Activity and, in my opinion, Final Destination. There were some good movies and there were some flops, so I don't know if I want to give this an average score of all of its movies, or just the first one, or I don't know. I think I'm just gonna base it off of an average of all the movies. So I'm gonna put it in chilling and disturbing, but I'm gonna put it at the end. I'll put Creep above Saw and chilling, disturbing. It's disturbing because there's a lot of violence and there's more gore in it, and you don't, like I said, you don't see too many splatter films nowadays. You don't see too much gore or blood that much anymore. You see like action and murder. Like, I just saw Mortal Kombat, and like, that's the most violence I have ever seen, like, in public in a minute, right? So, in public, because I saw it in the theaters. Obviously, I'm playing, all these horrible games that are infecting my mind. In a public setting, it's violence, right? Quiet Place. Quiet Place, I actually really do like, and it's actually interesting how they made kind of, I don't know how long it is, but they made a long movie with them literally saying nothing. Obviously, there's some subtitles because they speak in sign language sometimes, and when they're distantly away from the monsters, they do talk or whisper at least. So there is that, but majority of the movie is actually in silence, and the fact that they pulled that off with such of how long of a movie it is, I think it's pretty brilliant. And how they made the sound as well, it's also pretty brilliant as well. And the acting was also very well. So I honestly don't really have that any bad things to really say about A Quiet Place. I have not seen the second one, but I'm sure it's as good. The second one's a prequel. But Quiet Place, I'm gonna put next to Get Out, but it's not better than Get Out, in my opinion, I don't think. Get Out's probably gonna stay there. I don't think anything else has a run for its money. It might, but I don't know. Silence of the Lambs. Okay, so now we're kind of getting into maybe some psychological thrillers a little bit. But Silence of the Lambs, I watched once, and while I was watching it, I was distracted. And what's kind of funny is that, Hannibal Lecter, the cannibal guy, he literally only has like 8 minutes of screen time, yet he got an Oscar for that. So, I don't get me wrong, he's a good actor, and he did his part. Like, he ad-libbed even in some of the scenes, and he was scary, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty, I thought it was okay. Thought it was okay, but I don't think it should be in okay. I think it should be in here, maybe. I might have to, I don't know. I'm going to put it in okay, but I'm going to put it in high okay. Now, listen, when I put it in okay, it's high. It's high okay. It's not, I'll settle. I'm just going to go with that. That's what it is. All right, Split. Now, Split is a trilogy. There's Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. And I have not seen Unbreakable, but I have seen Split and Glass. And Glass just ties it up. Glass, I would put, if I were doing a movie tier list, or maybe even a superhero movie tier list, but since I'm not and I'm doing Split, Split is kind of scary. You could argue that it is a horror movie, and you could also argue that it's not. So obviously I'm going to put Split here, but now it's, do I put Split above Get Out or do I not? All right, let's debate. Let's see. Let's get a list. Get Out, good story, racism, good actors, great acting, good twist. Split, amazing actor, good actors, good cinematography, nice violence. Oh, okay, Get Out and Split is honestly a hard choice for me. I don't know. All right, I'm going to put Split after Get Out. But if I were doing a movie tier list, I would absolutely put Split above Get Out 100% of the time. But since this is a horror movie tier list, Get Out has more horror elements than Split does, in my opinion. Back to Blair Witch. Like I said, found footage film. A lot of people think it's dry, but I think it's really good. So I'm actually gonna put it in chilling and disturbing, but I'm gonna put it. Yeah, no, it's gonna definitely go below Saw because there's not, the violence literally carries Saw, I think. and there's just not that much violence in Blair Witch. It's just very disturbing, I guess. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie, absolutely true paranoia. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably the scariest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, it wasn't scary to the fact where I was, pissing my pants, right? Like I couldn't bear to watch it anymore. Because nothing like that really scares me. But what does get to me are just things that just keep me up at night, right? They just keep you up at night. You can't stop thinking about them. And this is that movie. This is the only movie that has really given me paranoia ever. The only movie, I should say. This is the only movie that has given me paranoia-inducing thoughts. Because the dude was so big. Like, he was a big boy. Carrying around a chainsaw. Running at the speed of light. You know how scary that is? A huge fat dude with a chainsaw running faster than Usain? Like, that's pretty scary. And then there was this one scene where he was dragging this girl by her hair. At, like, such vigorous force. And then he pulled her behind the door, and then he slammed it. If I can play it, the clip is right here. Jesus! Right? But, I mean, it's up there, because I would, after I watched the movie, I would open the door and I would look behind the door to see if there was a big white dude with a chainsaw and a human mask about to chase me down. Very good movie. Would not watch it again, though. The Boy. Enough said. I mean, while we're at it in the cornball tier list, I'm probably going to put The Forest in there. Now, I'm going to give The Forest some slack. I'm going to put it in okay, just because the main character's hot. So, okay, Candyman. I don't know why I see Candyman like this, but I see Candyman as the perfect horror movie. I mean, perfect Halloween movie. It is the movie you want to watch on Halloween. I don't know why. It's just the music. It's the date it was made in like the 80s. I don't know. It just gives me Halloween vibes. So, but it also is very bloody too. So I think I'm going to put it here. Midsommar, the disturbing elements really carry the movie, just like the violence carries Saw, in which it makes it above Blair Witch and Midsommar above everything else, because the disturbing elements are insane. If there wasn't that much disturbance in the movie, then it would definitely be lower, but, I mean, some of the concepts are just bizarre. But with Candyman, it is very, I'm not going to say it's very gory, but there's a lot of blood, and it is pretty scary, but it also has an amazing storyline. I would put it in good movie overall, but just by the looks of the tier list, it looks like good movie overall is under chilling and disturbing, which it technically is, but some of these movies are just better as movies than they are horror movies, if you know what I mean. So Candyman is a better horror movie than it is a regular movie, which is why it's going to go above these and above Creep, Saw, and Blair Witch, but under Midsommar, because it is not as disturbing. It's just scary. All right, coming down to the last three here. I mean, do I really have to say anything? These last two, The Shining and The Mist. Okay. I just recently saw The Shining, and it's a pretty good movie. After seeing, all like I don't know, you just see so many references to The Shining, like the blood pouring down the hall, the "Here's Johnny" line, which was actually improvised by Jack Nicholson, the twins in the hallway, the kid riding the tricycle down the hallway. After seeing all of that, I mean, like, come on, you have to see the movie, right? So I'm gonna put Shining. I could see why it'd be true in paranoia. I could honestly see why, but okay. The Shining in my opinion, can honestly go in any of these three. And these three tiers are good. It's not to say that True Paranoia is better than good movie. It's just scarier than chilling, disturbing, and good movie. And this is a horror movie tier list. It could honestly go in any of these three. It's a great movie, great acting, great storyline. A lot of chilling elements, a lot of disturbing elements. Ooh, wait, I just thought of one scene in there, which makes me maybe think it should be right there, actually. There's like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but there's this one scene where like he walks in and also I'm not even gonna explain that scene because the hard R is in this movie once, so that's why it's gonna go up there. The Mist is the final movie here. So Mist is also another Stephen King movie, but I ended up watching the ending to The Mist on YouTube because I was trying to do a film project and I was trying to look up like the saddest movie endings of all time, right? And obviously I spoiled myself to the ending, but it was such a good ending that you had to rewatch it before you did the movie. I'm not saying to watch the ending before the movie because honestly I would have such a better experience watching that than the movie. But at the time, I don't even think HBO Max was out at the time, so I didn't really have anything to watch The Mist on. And The Mist is kind of a relatively old movie, so there's not many places to watch it. But when there are times and when you do hear about The Mist, Stephen King movie, you should absolutely watch it. It is really good. Very sad too. It's really sad. Actually, if you don't care, the skip to this timestamp right here, because I'm about to spoil it. I'm about to say the ending, but if you don't care, skip there, and if you want to know, then stay tuned. So let me go to full screen for this. But basically, The Mist is about this huge mist that takes over the town. That's pretty much the entire premise of the movie, really much. But the entire movie, the entire cast gets held up in this supermarket where all their rations are, and some of them leave the supermarket to be like, oh man, this is BS, I'm leaving. Some of them never come back. Some of them die in the supermarket to all the monsters that are in the mist, like tentacle monsters, spiders, like just every monster that you can imagine. At the end, the main character and his family end up going in a car and they drive through the mist trying to outrun it, if you will, but their car ends up breaking down or they run out of gas or whatever, and they're just in the middle of the mist. So the main character has a gun, and I think there's 4 of his family members and 5 people in the car, including himself, and he has a gun and it has 4 bullets. So he's thinking about what he should do, and inevitably it comes to the fact of like, do I want me and my family to suffer the horrors of these monsters, to be ripped and tore apart just like we've seen in the supermarket, or should we just end it now and peacefully, like just like that? So he ends up making the choice, kills his whole family. He kills his family in the car, he kills his wife, he kills his son, he kills his grandparents, everybody in the car. There's blood all over it, and he's just sitting there insane, banging his head with the gun, just crying, whatever. I don't remember if he miscounted and he ended up not miscounting and didn't have a bullet for himself, or if he actually actively made the choice to keep himself, but I'm pretty sure it was the latter, because after that he gets out the car, he slams it, and then he's like, come on, kill me, right? And just as he's about to die, the smoke of the mist clears, and there's military trucks storming through the streets, and they were like in the parking lot or whatever. But there's military troops swarming the streets. There's cars coming down with other survivors. Some people from the supermarket that left, because he would look at their faces and be like, "Oh, that's Jane from down the street that left the supermarket to go try to fend for herself." And just the reality that you just killed your entire family moments before you were all about to be saved, and now there's military troops looking down at you while you're on your knees, about to either execute you for killing your family, arrest you for killing your family, or just confused at what happened. But yeah, pretty crazy movie. Back to the tier list, even though I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, so I think I would definitely put it here. It's definitely better than Get Out. It's definitely better than The Split. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I think the ending carries the movie, just like I said, but I think I would put it at the end of Disturbing, solely because actually it might be above Blair Witch just a little bit, but it's not as violent as Saw is. So, yeah, this is the tier list. Whether you agree with it or not, this is true. My opinion is the right opinion. I'm sorry, but this is the tier list. This is my tier list. This has been Roy. Thanks for watching. Okay. What?